Peace. What's going on, everybody? Give everybody a chance to tune in and tap into your boy before I start building on the topic for the day. Hopefully you all are enjoying this Wednesday thus far. Staying healthy, staying peaceful, staying out of the way, staying productive, getting things done, not letting this world break you. Hopefully you got your affirmations in, taking care of that mental health, protecting your energy and protecting your peace. Got an important topic I want to build on today. Beautiful Goddess Keys, peace, what's going on? How you living? I just made you a moderator, by the way. Said I gotta start making y'all moderators. So Beautiful Goddess Keys, you actually the first moderator. First person I made a moderator. Perfect timing. Trade and War Stories, peace, what's going on with you? How you living? Give y'all a chance to scroll on in, man. We got an important topic for the day, man. We got to talk about the destruction of Black America, man, because we have been destroyed. We are at war amongst each other, but then we got a bigger enemy that's striving to wipe us out, man. And this agenda is real. So we gotta stay in tune. Magic Realms, peace, what's going on? Lindell, peace, what's going on? Troy B, peace, what's going on with you? How y'all living? Like I said, man, we got bigger issues, man. We got a lot of issues, a lot of people. Melanated Multiverse Master Crafter. It's a long name, but peace. What's going on with you? How you living? Appreciate you tuning in. But we gotta talk about the destruction of Black America, man, because like I said, it's crazy, man. I was just doing the knowledge to Pfizer and their vaccine, and the article that I read was, I think it was based in the UK, and they was basically saying, like, I guess they did some test trials on the new vaccine. And again, I already talked about this in the previous video, but again, this was another article, a newer article, and they were basically saying it was like two people or two patients or whatever, they had allergic reactions to the new coronavirus vaccine. And that article is basically stating that Pfizer needs to warn people that tend to have allergic reactions to food and medicine, that they may be more susceptible to having that same type of reaction to this coronavirus vaccine. So slowly, they gradually letting us know how dangerous this vaccine really is. They gradually letting us know that. They gradually letting us know. And like I said, we already know the agenda. We already know what's really going on. We already know who this is going to impact the most. But they slowly making these articles, and a lot of people not even paying attention to these articles. A lot of people just see that it's a vaccine out here. They not finding these articles that's letting you know that, hey, such and such had an allergic reaction to this vaccine. Those are the articles that they try to sweep under the rug. They don't want these articles to become public and mainstream, but these articles are out there. So they already demonstrating that this vaccine is dangerous in and of itself. Sweet Tea, peace. Tavon, peace. Randy, what's going on with you? And Magic Realms, no doubt. And Joe King, and that's what I was talking about in regards to the youth. Like they always, that's where they get us, man. They target the youth in a lot of different ways, but definitely with this vaccine, they definitely striving to wipe out the babies. They definitely striving to wipe out the babies, man. We got to be mindful. We got to be mindful and we got to be cautious in regards to the babies out here, man, because that's always been a main target of theirs, man. Again, we already know depopulation was always part of the agenda. Plenty of prominent European male leaders that talked about depopulating the planet. Now, when they talk about depopulating the planet, we know that they want to start that off with us. They don't mind killing and eliminating their own as well, but they want to start that process with us. So we already know that, man. We already know the amount of black babies that have been killed, that have been swept under the rug, that they not documenting and letting us know about, and that's not mainstream knowledge. We already know that that type of stuff is going on. It's been going on, and it's currently still going on. Terenzo, peace, what's going on with you? Yeah, most definitely, and that's why they focus on the youth. That's why when they create these bad and addictive foods, they target the youth. They want to get the youth addicted to the food. So then when you get the youth, when you get the babies addicted to the bad food by default, you getting the parents addicted to it as well. Because if I got to take my kid to McDonald's, then I might as well get some on the menu myself. So what better way to get the whole family than to target the baby? They make the baby feel left out. Well, all my other friends are eating the McDonald's. All my other friends are eating this trash candy that's messing up my teeth and messing up my internal health and all of that good stuff. So if I don't get it, then something is wrong with me. So I got to make sure my child is eating like everybody else. So that's how they get us. That's how they get us. That's how they get you. I'm going to get that child to want that McDonald's. I'm going to get that child to desire and crave that McDonald's. So then by default, when you take the child to get the McDonald's, now you got to go, you finna get something that's on the menu. Because you like mine as well type deal. Oh yeah, beautiful goddess keys. I don't know if this was like an actual fact, but I thought I saw an article talking about Obama basically endorsing it or saying that he would get the vaccine. I don't know if that was a true article, man. I ain't even click on it because a lot of times when I see something pertaining to this vaccine, man, I just be like, this is garbage. But I think I seen one about Obama, and I seen one about a young black lady, a young black girl, I believe, basically kind of co-signing the vaccine. So you already seeing it. You already seeing these black people coming out here endorsing this vaccine, letting people know that they should be getting this vaccine. And I'm just seeing all type of black people, man, endorsing this vaccine. So it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Like we got short-term memory, man. All the experiments that have been done to us, man. And all of a sudden, we letting our guards down real quickly once again. And we just wonder why. We wonder why we in that same condition, man. We wonder why our condition never improves. Because look at the stuff that we continue to fall for. We continue to fall for. And the destruction of black civilization, it goes way back, even in regards to the family structure. And y'all heard me building on that the previous video, man. We gotta really do the knowledge to the history. We gotta really do the knowledge to the history, man. It's a disconnect between black man and black woman. But how did this disconnect arise? Who created this disconnect? So a lot of times we really point the finger at each other, but again, it's an unseen hand that was behind all of this. So every time that we at war with one another, every time we mistreat one another, they sitting back laughing. They sitting back laughing because they pulled the strings, man. They the reason why this condition exists in the first place. It's almost like the ghettos and the projects. They created the projects. So when we warring amongst one another in these projects, we overlooking the fact that they created the project for that particular reason, to create those particular conditions. They created these ghettos. They created these projects. They did that. They did that. We can get into technical terms like redlining and things of that nature to show and prove how they created these ghettos and these projects. And they knew what the result would be. And they did the same thing to the black family. So every time we are at odds with one another, every time the black man is at odds with the black woman, guess what? They up 20 points. They up 40 points. They up 60. They up 100. That's why I don't really like to spend too much time like I used to be this way on Facebook, but to no avail, man. It seemed like every time I end up talking about the system, I was arguing more with black people than I was with white people. And I was talking about the white people. I made it my duty. Like, I don't like to get on these platforms and bash my brothers and my sisters. I'd rather talk about these white folks. I'd rather talk about this system because that's my enemy. Like, I don't have beef with the black woman. I don't have beef with another black man. Like, that ain't my beef. That ain't the world that I live in. I have beef with this system. This system has mistreated me worse than any black woman and any black man. It's this system that has treated me unfairly the most. So that's my issue. That's my beef. That's who I have a problem with. So when I get on these platforms, I like to express that because I done been through some situations via this system. So I don't necessarily care to get on platforms talking about black men this and black women this, and we gotta stop killing each other and all that type of stuff, man. I'm able to see the larger picture, man, and that's what I tend to focus on. But even when I do that, I still tend to argue with my people a lot more than I'm arguing with the white folks. And I know why that is. We got Stockholm syndrome and whatnot. So I know why that is, but that just lets you know just the psychological destruction and how deep that it actually runs, man. Because here I am talking about how this system is mistreating us, how this system then created certain systems that created certain conditions. And then you got people that are not able to look at what I'm saying and look at it for what it is, man. They instead of them looking at it saying, okay, he's talking about an unseen hand, he's talking about the role that the white man is playing. They say, I'm blaming the white man. We got to stop blaming the white man. I say, man, who is blaming the white man? I'm just acknowledging his role in our condition because he plays a role. It's a difference between blaming something and acknowledging your role. If we in a team, if we playing basketball, if we playing football, man, and we take an L, we lose. Everybody had a role in that L. That's not necessarily saying that I'm like if you drop the touchdown pass, I'm going to acknowledge the fact that if you would have caught that pass, then we would have been up 6, possibly 7 if we made the extra point. I'm not blaming you. I'm just acknowledging your role in that loss. That's all that I tend to do when it comes to white folks, when it comes to white people and the white man, the white man got a big role in our condition as a people, and we tend to remain blind to that actual fact and that actual reality. And people get mad at me for talking about it. Oh, you got to make everything about race. Nah, I don't have to make everything about race. They did, and they do. I just talk about it. Like the stuff that I say, the culture that I live, like it's in response to the mistreatment of my people via this system, via these white folks, via these Europeans. So they can't get mad at me for pointing out the truth in regards to how they have been mistreating us year after year after year after year and say that I'm making everything about race. Come on, man. The moment I apply for a job that I'm more than qualified for and I don't even proceed to the interview, you made it about race. Like you made that about race. If you telling me that this job just requires a high school diploma and really no experience, and I got 2 college degrees and I got the experience and I'm not even making it to the interview, basically because you looked me up on Facebook and you saw that I was a black brother with some locks, you ain't gonna admit that, but you made that about race. Talking about you gonna seek a more qualified candidate. But I didn't make it to the end. Like that's about race. That's that covert racism. I'm just gonna be overt with it and talk about it. But they make it about race with all these policies that they have out here, man. All the discrimination that goes on against my people, against people that look like me, against people that look like you. Justin Peace, what's going on? Tyson, what's going on with you? Yeah, Magic Rims, most definitely. Most definitely. The system is never in our favor, and I don't know what it's going to take to get people to realize that when Obama was selected to be president, that kind of tricked people, because then all of a sudden they thought that the system could operate in our favor because they put a black face as the president. So that kind of tricked people. That kind of set us back. Contrary to popular belief, man, Obama being selected as president set us back a few years, man. Because then, like, what that did was that gave us hope. Oh, now I could teach my black son that he can be the president of the United States. I wouldn't want my black son to be president of the United States. I don't think that's something that you should strive for as a black child. That's not a milestone. That's not a big achievement. I didn't feel good about that. That wasn't progress to me. But like I said, we took a step back when Obama was selected and placed in the office, man. We got to look comfortable. We got to look comfortable with America, the corporation. And again, everything is business, so they did that for a reason. But like I said, we took a step back with that, man. We got a little too comfortable, and we shouldn't have did that. Eli Peace, what's going on with you? Yeah, Lindell, and a lot of people don't understand the science behind racism and white supremacy, and then just prejudice. Like I said, we got Neely Fuller Jr., man, who done broke this down. Frances Cress Wilson, she broke it down. So we got a lot of ancestors that done broke it down. Montel, peace, what's going on with you? So a lot of people don't understand when people come out and say black people cannot be racist. Again, when I make a statement like that, I get more backlash from black people. I've actually had these same conversations with like Europeans and white folks, and they actually understand what I'm saying. But when I tell a black person that, man, I cannot be racist, you cannot be racist, black people cannot be racist, they start arguing with me like, what you mean black people can be racist? No, we cannot be racist, man. When you really break down what racism is, again, study the work of Neely Fuller Jr., then you understand that it's systemic, it's systematic. The words that I'm speaking right now, everything that I'm saying right now, the rhetoric that I'm spitting right now is not going to prevent a white child from succeeding in society. Like, I don't have that power. Collectively, we don't have that power. Collectively, we don't have the power to keep that white child or that white man or that white boy at the bottom or that white woman at the bottom. Collectively, we don't have that type of power. That's what racism is. Collectively, though, they have the power to keep us at the bottom, which is what they're doing, or keep us underneath them. That's what they are doing. Collectively, we don't have that power just yet. I mean, we have it, but we haven't realized it, and we're not utilizing it. So we not doing that. We not operating like that. So therefore, that's how we cannot be racist, because racism is more systemic. When we start talking about an individual that's black talking bad about white people, now we're talking about prejudice. So there's a big difference there. And really, I don't have a problem with someone that's prejudiced. Like, if you white and you don't like black people, I really don't have a problem with that, because you let me know how you truly feel. I'd rather it be that way. I'd rather you be overt about you not liking my kind, opposed to being in a closet with it. So I actually have more respect for the people that say, nah, I don't necessarily rock with black people. Or I got a white daughter, I would not want her bringing a black boy home. Like, I respect that. I respect that, opposed to the white family that's gonna sugarcoat it and act like they fool with it when really they don't. When behind closed doors, they talking bad about the situation. They talking bad about the black people. So I don't really have a problem with it. We all are prejudiced in some way, shape, or form, man. So we all have prejudices, man. So that's something that we all have. We all prejudge whether or not we want to admit it. So I don't really necessarily have a problem with that. Like I said, I have a problem with the people that's in the closet, the people that are covert with the racism, or the people that's covert with being prejudiced. Like, just come on out and let me know how you truly feel. You gonna gain my respect that way, because I'm gonna come out and let you know how I truly feel. I'm gonna let you know that I don't play in the snow. I ain't fooling with no white women, man. I don't too much care to be communicating with white dudes like that. I really don't care to be doing that. That's my preference, man. That's my prejudice. KF Peace, what's going on? Oh yeah, Magic Rims. I tell people all the time, man, if I messed around and became like, what would I involve myself in politics for just to get assassinated? All the people that I look up to, they either got assassinated or they died a mysterious death. That's how they went out. So why would I want to involve myself? Like, I done had people in my family tell me I should get into politics. I'm like, so for what? For first and foremost, when have you ever seen anybody that literally looks like me on a political level? Like, that ain't gonna happen, because I'm not about to be some clean cut dude. That ain't gonna happen. So I ain't gonna get accepted first and foremost. But even if I did, what do you think the end result would be? Terrell, peace, what's going on? So I'm like, man, why would I involve myself with politics on that type of level, man? I'm not gonna have any type of power. That don't even make any sense to suggest that, man. I already know how this system works. I know how this system works, so therefore, if I was to get into politics, I would only end up assassinated or dying a mysterious death. Everybody that I looked up to, from Khalid Muhammad to Malcolm X, Amos Wilson definitely died a mysterious death. Like, people really don't even know, like, it was really mysterious how he died. And then the way that they did my man's Marcus Garvey, Huey Newton, just the way that they all went out, like, come on. It was an unseen hand behind all of that. It was an unseen hand behind all of that. Even when we get down to Malcolm X, man, they really got us with that one. They really got us with that one, because at the end of the day, it created a division amongst black people. So you got people that ride with Malcolm X that can't stand the Nation of Islam, can't stand Farrakhan, can't stand Elijah Muhammad. Rightfully so, but at the end of the day, guess who paid these people off? It was that white hand that I be talking about. And we tend to overlook that. Again, everybody has that price, and that white man knows that. But we got to acknowledge that role. We got to acknowledge that role. Malcolm X was assassinated. Yeah, it was by some brothers that look like me. But you got to understand the FBI's involvement in that. You got to understand the FBI's involvement in that. Just like when we deal with Fred Hampton. When we deal with the death of all these cats, man, you got to look at the FBI, the CIA. You got to look at the government's involvement. They were involved in all of that. Justin Peace, what's going on? Oh yeah, beautiful goddess keys, no doubt, no doubt. And then even our, like I said in another video, man, our holistic health practitioners, man, our healers, that ain't even safe. They don't even appreciate you healing the people. You start healing the people out here, man, they gotta kill you, they gotta silence you. So you can't heal the people, you can't spit the truth. You definitely can't look like you about to start that revolution, man. You can't look like you about to be out in the physical, riling the people up, man, getting the people amped. You really can't do that. They really despise that. Again, we talking about COINTELPRO. So I'm hitting on all the key words that they don't necessarily like, man. I might as well just go and throw Illuminati out there. These are the key words. Because I used to do the knowledge of this way back in the day, man. So it was key words that back then I was on Facebook. So it was certain words that if you incorporated them in like your status on your Facebook page, man, it triggered their system and you became a target. They started watching you. So Illuminati was one of those words. You talked about the government. That was one of the words. COINTELPRO, FBI, CIA. Those were like the code words. And it set off a trigger. It set off an alert. So once you mention those words, boom, the trigger or the alert went off. They start investigating your page. If they didn't like what they saw, then they put you on that list. They put your page on that list. This is still happening to this day. So when you mention certain words on a video or on your Facebook, you alert that system and they're going to investigate your page. And if they say, oh, okay, this person got potential, they know a little too much, you on that list. So now they watching you. Oh yeah, Magic Rims, man, I got a few books that talk about, where dudes talked about how they started off as a traditional doctor, believing in Western medicine. Then they realized the Western medicine was doing more harm than good. Then they started studying like Eastern medicine, and they realized they was doing everything all wrong. Then they were striving to incorporate elements of Eastern medicine in their practice. And then they started getting their licenses suspended, their certifications suspended, and all that, man. They ended up having to go overseas to do their healing. So I got a bunch of stories like that. And that's crazy. So you losing your certification because instead of harming people, you choosing to heal people. So you finna lose your license. Your license gonna get suspended because you realize that I'm giving them this medication and it's actually killing them. We gonna do this, we gonna incorporate this strategy, and it's gonna actually heal them. It's gonna reverse the condition. Now I got to take your license from you. Because now you practicing quackery because you healing people. That's the type of stuff that goes on. Thunder Scorpion piece, what's going on? Patrick, peace, what's going on with you? Static saying, what's going on with you? How y'all living? But yeah, for the longest, like I said, man, that's why, because I used to be heavy with it on Facebook, and a lot of people were striving to get me on other platforms like YouTube and all that, man, but I was doing my dirt on Facebook, and I had some encounters on Facebook. But I was like, man, if I get on YouTube, if I start getting too heavy with it, man, ain't no telling what's gonna end up happening to it. And I don't want to get too invested on a YouTube channel, and then all of a sudden it gets shut down. Then I'm gonna just get frustrated, like how my Facebook pages did. Man, I was on Facebook, and every time I built up momentum, I had 2 pages, and I build up the momentum, man. I get the page cracking. I just start dropping bomb after bomb after bomb, video after video after video. Proof after proof after proof, evidence after evidence after evidence. And as soon as I did that, As soon as I got comfortable, boom, something happening with my page. So I was like, man, I don't even want to get on YouTube, because then if I, once I get too comfortable with it, once I get going, then all of a sudden something fishy gonna start happening with the channel. But it is what it is, man. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know if something happened to the channel, y'all already know what's going on. So y'all know what's going on, just like the people that knew what was going on the Facebook page, man. So it is what it is. Yeah, Magic Rim, and again, we talk about rights and whatnot. Like at the end of the day, it's cool, but then who writing these laws? Like that's who have the power. Those are the people who really possess the power. So we think we standing up for our rights. At the end of the day, they could just alter the rights. They could just change the rights because they control the laws. Amos Wilson says something along the lines, I'm gonna paraphrase it, man, but the law is only as strong as those who enforce it. So at the end of the day, we can have all these laws and rights that we so-called claim to have, but if the people that made them not enforcing them, then it really don't matter at the end of the day. And the people that enforce the laws, they are the main lawbreakers. So again, at the end of the day, it really don't even matter. So we sitting up here yelling, oh man, you violate my rights, man. Of course they violating your rights, man, because they wrote that right in the first place. They gave you that right. Like they wrote that right, they gave you that right in the first place. So of course, don't be surprised when they violate it. Don't be surprised when they violate it. Yeah, Tavon, and I've always talked about that. We was 3/5 of a human being, so we wasn't even a full human in their eyes, man. we wasn't even a full human in their eyes. And then we can even get the breakdown of hue and man, and then that we can even get down to a metaphysical level when we talk about hue and man. And basically, y'all know what hue means in regards to color and man. Like we can break that down though. Like when we talk about one large step for man, what is it called, man? I forgot the quote, man. But breaking down man and mankind, how they are a kind of man. So we can get deep. We can get deep like that. We can get deep like that. They are a kind of man, but they not the original man. They just a kind of man. So again, I might do a video on breaking that type of stuff down, breaking down hue and man and just all of that, man. Just breaking down what all of that means. But they know the truth, man. That's why they getting us with some of the wordplay that they using on us. They know the truth. Beautiful Goddess Keys, no doubt, man. And I was basically kind of having a conversation like that, such as myself. Just kind of getting tired of talking about it, man. But at the end of the day, I'm tired of talking about it, yet I enjoy talking about it sometimes. So it's a paradox situation for me. So I'm tired of talking about it, man, but I enjoy it, man. It's like it's in my blood to talk about this type of stuff. It gets me amped up. Just to kind of, when I see my people so blind out here, man, for one, it frustrates me, but I feel like then it's my duty to try to educate you. Whether or not you listen, can't do nothing about that, man, but I'm always striving to just throw that information out there, man, especially in regards to like this whole vaccine situation, because it's crazy. It's crazy. Because a lot of people, what's crazy about it, a lot of people, they kind of questioning the vaccine, but then it's like they like, well, what else can we do? Like, I mean, that's showing me how crazy it is, man. Y'all really believe that a vaccine is the only thing that we can do? Like a vaccine is the only thing that you can do to protect yourself from a virus. Like that's what people actually believe. So they feel like there's really no other option. So I'm like, man, they got us good. They got us good. But people are brainwashed when it comes to everything, man. When it comes to the vaccines, when it comes to the foods that you should eat, when it comes to the mainstream, like the media, they brainwashed in regards to that. They brainwashed in regards to religion. They brainwashed in regards to politics. They brainwashed in regards to the proper education. I mean, man, we brainwashed in regards to freaking everything. I mean, when I deal with the average person, it don't even matter it don't matter what the topic is. It don't matter what the topic is, man. People tend to be brainwashed no matter what the topic is, man. I can't even talk about like music with people, man, because for the most part, they gonna start talking about some music that I don't too much care for, that's destructive. Yeah, Justin, that medical apartheid is a jewel. But man, people just brainwashed on all type of levels. So it's hard to have conversations with the average person. It's hard to have conversations with the average person, and it can get draining, man. It can just get draining when you feel like it's something that's real simple, that like all you got to do is just look at history, and this simple history that we all know about. It ain't even the deep history. It's real simple history in regards to how they've treated us over the past. We always overlook that simple history. Beast Reincarnated, peace, what's going on with you? Oh, beautiful God, they done called you a bad mother for not vaccinating you. Wow. Wow, like that's where we at with it. That's where we at. We telling people they bad mothers because they not, okay, so they not giving the vaccine to the child. That's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, Tavon, man, no doubt. Like it gets draining. It gets draining because it's like real simple stuff that I feel like I necessarily shouldn't have to explain. And I feel like some people, like black people, most black people should already understand. But I find myself explaining a lot of things that I just feel like are self-explanatory, man. A lot of things that they should just be able to see just by analyzing the world, the outside world, man, just analyzing what's going on. There's certain things that I find myself explaining that I'm like, man, all you got to do is open your eyes up. And that's the problem. The eyes closed. And we're not talking about the physical eyes, man, but the eyes are closed to the truth. And all they got to do is literally open them up. Yeah, Joaquin, man, most definitely. And I mean, it's so like I said, even with the pandemic, man, I know it's a broken record, man, but like I said, the pandemic is nothing new. Like in regards to just how to prevent it, man, and just even how to reverse it. Like it's real simple in regards to what needs to be done. So like at the end of the day, like I don't want to say that this situation ain't really a big deal, man, but I mean, again, like we've seen this. The pandemic is not nothing new. It's nothing new under the sun. We got pandemics throughout history. So again, this is really nothing new under the sun. This ain't the first time that the population at large in this particular country was walking around wearing masks. Like this is something that actually happened back in the day. So again, nothing is new under the sun. It's really nothing new in regards to your immune system being strengthened in order to like protect yourself. Like this is not new, man. Should be common knowledge. It should be common sense. But again, we already know why it's not common. We already know that if they taught that, they're gonna lose money. So again, we already know it's a lot of money to be made behind administering this vaccine, because again, this vaccine gonna result in a lot of people dying and a lot of people getting sick. So just think about what I said. When the video first started, I talked about the two patients that got the vaccine, the coronavirus vaccine, and they experienced the allergic reaction. So what happens when you get the vaccine and you experience an allergic reaction? That just made you sicker. So therefore, now you still dependent upon the medical system because now you are sicker. You are sick because the vaccine made you sick. So now you have to be on bed rest, or you have to get this medication, or you have to stay at the hospital because you had an adverse reaction to this vaccine. So they making more money off you. So I mean, they coming out letting us know out the gate, man, the truth is hidden in plain sight. Oh, Joe King, man, and then I'm gonna give you the simplistic way. Again, I mentioned a lot of it in my book, man, but the simplistic way to prevent disease, reverse disease, fasting. Go on you a fruit, like an organic fruit juice, fresh fruit juice fast. You can almost cure anything. Y'all heard me, y'all saw my video in regards to the guy that cured himself from AIDS. All he did was fast. He went on a fruit juice fast. I think his fruit juice was orange juice. He went on a fruit juice fast for about 30 days. He got enough rest. He was in a positive environment. And that's it. He reversed his condition. So fasting, I mean, that's one of the age-old things that you could do, man. If you want to strengthen, if you want to get that immune system in check, man, if you want to detox, man, just fast, man. Find you some lemons, some limes, or some organic oranges, man, and just juice them joints and fast on that juice for an extended period of time. And watch what that does for you. Patrick, it's definitely gonna tap into our DNA. It's definitely gonna tap to our DNA. It's definitely gonna do that. It's definitely gonna do that. Yeah, Lindell, most definitely. And people don't understand that, man. In order for, like I said, I've said it several times. In order for that virus to thrive, it needs a toxic environment. If you don't supply it with a toxic environment, you are starving the virus. So again, I'm gonna get into this science. I'm gonna get into this science in the previous video, but something even like HIV. HIV is not even necessarily it's actually a harmless virus. What makes the virus dangerous is the host, like the environment. So if the environment is toxic, then now the virus becomes toxic. But we all have these viruses that's laying dormant in us already. So the virus itself is neutral. It's when you create that toxic environment, now you feed the virus. So like I said, I'm gonna break this down, but like HIV is not necessarily something that's harmful. It's not a harmful virus. It's actually harmless. It's when you start feeding that virus that it becomes harmful, that it becomes destructive, that it becomes dangerous. And then that's when they say it transitions to AIDS, and then that's when you die. That's when you die of pneumonia. And that's weakening your immune system. So again, the virus in and of itself is not actually dangerous. It's actually harmless. The virus in and of itself is harmless. Hence why some people can get the so-called virus and not experience not one symptom. So you got the virus, but you're not experiencing any symptom. Know plenty of people like that. That's because a virus in and of itself is neutral. It's not necessarily something that's harmful and destructive. So if you feed that virus, then you have a problem. Hence why they say the people with, like I said, the pre-existing conditions are more susceptible to it causing damage to them, because the virus has something to eat. It has something to feast off of. Like if I got the virus, it wouldn't necessarily do anything to me because my insides are clean. So internally I'm clean. So I can come across the coronavirus and then it'll go right through. That's what happens when you have a clean environment, a clean inner environment, a clean internal environment. Patrick, man, you could type it in on Amazon. You type in my name, Eric Bell, and enter mask. INNERMASK. And it should pop right up for you. And then I can come back and put the link in the description. But yeah, Magic Realms, the alkaline body is the healthy body. And it's real simple to reach that alkaline state. It's real simple to reach that alkaline state. So one thing I noticed during this pandemic is that I really noticed the addiction. Like we really not willing to do what we need to do just from a health and fitness standpoint in order to protect ourselves. In order to truly protect ourselves. Like you will figure with a pandemic like this, man, people will be a little more cautious in regards to some of the foods that they are consuming. That did not happen. If anything, this made people actually eat a lot worse. So, I mean, it just really opened my eyes to a lot of that. Like people really don't actually care about their health. Like they legit don't care about their health. And again, they don't feel as though what they eat plays a role in anything. So it's a pandemic that will tear your immune system to shreds, And then yet I'm finna go populate all the fast food restaurants. I'm finna go to the store and buy all the sweets, all the snacks, all the chips, all the cookies. And like, what do I think I'm doing by doing that? Real Remedy RS, yeah, to an extent. To an extent, like y'all have heard me talk about religious people praying over like pork and stuff like that. Praying over the pork ain't finna make the pork clean. So, like, in a sense, I believe that, but sometimes, like, nah, I don't necessarily subscribe to that 100%. So I don't feel like you could just talk your way to being clean. Like, it's certain things that you have to do as well. Like, you literally have to detox yourself. You can't just talk to yourself and then that just makes you clean. So you have to do the physical work as well. So if you speak it, then you also have to live it and you have to practice it. So if you talk about being clean, then you have to do things that cleanses oneself, that refines oneself. So you can't just necessarily talk about it. And I always use that analogy like praying over food. That ain't necessarily cleaning up the food. That ain't necessarily making the pork clean. No, the pork, when you eat it, it's still destroying you at the end of the day. Oh, Real Remedy. Okay, if you're talking about it like that, talking wickedness against your brother and that making you unclean, oh yeah, most definitely. That's why I say we always need to be mindful of the words that we speak. We always need to be mindful of the words that we do speak. So that's why I strive to get on these platforms, and I really don't like to talk bad about my brothers and talk bad about my sisters. I don't like to do that. Like, I always strive to be mindful in regards to the words that I speak, man. So I don't really like to talk ill about my people like that. And I definitely feel like that kind of makes you toxic in a way. Because just look at the energy behind it. Like, why you feel the need to constantly talk bad or talk that wickedness into another person or about another person? Like, that's just bad energy. And it's not necessarily positive to harbor that bad energy. So like, that's not a good state to be in. That's not a good vibe or frequency to be operating on. So that's making you unclean. Just not even the fact that you spoke bad or spoke ill about the person. It's just the fact that you harboring that type of energy. That's what makes you unclean. Like, that's negative energy that you harboring. So that is what makes you unclean. That's what makes you toxic. So even before you even utter the words, you got to think it. So even before it becomes the words that you speak, like it was a thought. It existed as a thought first. And that thought just makes you unclean, man. It makes you toxic. So again, you got to be mindful of not only the words that you speak, but the thoughts that you think, because everything starts from that thought. Oh yeah, Lindell, most definitely. Yeah, Magic Johnson. Like, again, Magic Johnson is the proof to the point where a lot of people say, "Oh, Magic Johnson ain't got HIV." I'm like, yeah, Magic Johnson got HIV. He's just letting you know, he's showing and proving that a virus in and of itself is just neutral. Again, we have a lot of people that disagree with what I'm saying. They're gonna feel some type of way about what I'm saying, man. But it's an actual fact when you start studying these viruses. Yeah, the real Supreme Kai, yep. Yeah, that criticism, and again, yeah, with the self-hating, and that's one thing too. That's one thing too that we gotta understand. A lot of times when we dealing with one another, we dealing with people who have been taught to hate themselves, who don't know themselves. So a lot of times, man, we gotta come from that angle. So that's why I have a little bit more patience at times when I'm dealing with my people, because I understand what my people have been through. I understand that I'm chopping it up with this brother, and this may be a brother that lacks knowledge of himself. So when he lacks knowledge of himself, he also has been taught to hate himself. So I can come with that understanding. Now, I don't have that understanding when I'm dealing with other groups of people, because y'all just wicked. and I don't necessarily trust y'all. But when I'm dealing with my people, even when I'm dealing with ignorance amongst my people, I'm able to look at it in that light. Like, man, this brother is lost. He don't have knowledge of himself. He's been taught to hate himself. The system got it. I got to try to reach this brother. So a lot of times, man, that's what we dealing with, man. We dealing with that self-hate. And it's real prominent in the black community. It's real prominent in the black community, man. Every other black person that you're going to encounter, man, they just don't know themselves. They don't know who they are, man. They don't know where they came from. They don't know where they going type deal, man. So it's like, that's what we dealing with for the most part, most of the time. And when you come from that understanding, man, you able to have a little bit more patience in regards to dealing with your people, man, because you truly understand what's going on. Because I was in that same boat. I didn't come out of the womb with knowledge of myself, man. I had to learn that. I had to acquire that. And it took me time to acquire it. So that's why, again, sometimes I see myself in some of these brothers out here that's lost because, again, I was once living that type of lifestyle. I was once just as ignorant as I claim they are. So I'm able to put myself in their shoes for a moment because I was living that reality out myself. So again, man, I didn't come out the womb with knowledge of myself. I didn't come out the womb loving myself. I had periods of time where I hated myself just like everybody else, man. Just like majority of the population, of the black population. I fit that criteria. Oh, Emmanuel Russell, Tuskegee experiment, like I said, we didn't broke that down. We didn't broke that down. It's exactly what's about to be going on. That's exactly what's about to be going on. Oh yeah, Magic Realms, man, and even like I try to tell people all the time, man, it's a consequence behind everything. It's a consequence behind everything, man, and that includes your thoughts. It's a consequence behind. So some people think simply because they didn't utter the words or they didn't verbalize the thought that there will not be a consequence behind that thought. No, it's a consequence behind everything. Like we talk about, man, just everything is energy. So like it's a consequence behind your thoughts, man. That's why it's best to get your thoughts in order. So just because you didn't verbally manifest that thought doesn't necessarily mean that there is not a consequence for that particular thought, man. So a lot of people sleep on the power of thoughts. Like the things that you don't verbalize, people sleep on the power of those things, those thoughts. We skip right to the words, like the things that were verbalized, the things that we utter. What about the things that you didn't say, yet you still think and believe and you feel? Those things are just as destructive as the words that you utter, the words that you speak. Like those thoughts that you don't speak, those thoughts that you don't verbalize, but you still feel, you still think, you still believe, those can be more destructive than the words that you actually speak. Because sometimes we'll say one thing, but actually think another. So we actually telling somebody what they want to hear, but we actually think something contrary to what we said. That thought is going to be the actual reality that you manifest. Because that's what you actually feel. That's what you actually feel. When it comes down to manifesting, they tell you that emotional. You gotta have that emotional attachment to it. You gotta feel it. That's when you really start to manifest it. So you're not just gonna manifest something by just repeating the affirmation. You gotta have that emotional attachment to that affirmation, to those words, in order for you to truly manifest it. So when you have an emotional attachment to them thoughts, that's what you gonna manifest. Whatever you are attached to emotionally, that's what you will manifest. So if you emotionally attached to your thoughts, that's what you gonna manifest. So if you say one thing but you're not emotionally attached to the words the words that you spoke, you're not gonna manifest that. You're not gonna manifest that. If you emotionally attached to them thoughts, that's what you will manifest. That's what your reality will become. Oh, Eli, man, people don't understand how cheap it is to fast. Fast, it don't cost you much of anything, depending on how you do it. If you go on a water fast, that might not cost you nothing, man. That might buy you a couple gallon jugs of water, man. That's about it. So fasting is really inexpensive. So I tell people all the time, man, they talk about eating healthy is expensive. I said, man, have you ever fasted before? And you supposed to be fasting monthly. Like fasting, you don't have to spend nothing. You don't have to spend anything. So when you eat the way that you really supposed to eat, it's not really that bad, man. But again, like when you add elements like fasting, very inexpensive. Very inexpensive. So I mean, like I kill a lot of people. I kill a lot of people with that type of information, man. When I start talking about fasting in regards to eating healthy being expensive, man, they just looking at me like, whoa, what you talking about? And that's one of the best things you can do for your health, and you should be doing it on a regular basis. Should be doing it on a regular basis. But again, man, we talking about the destruction of our particular people, man, and I touched on it in a few angles. We already know about like the vaccine and medical industry. We talked about just basically our health, how they destroyed us that way. We slightly talked about the media, man. We know how that go, man. They always striving to make us look like we beefing. They always striving to make us look like we beefing, like we at odds, man. That's what they always striving to do within the media. Then when they put out the music that they want us to hear, then we know how destructive that music is. And it's a time and a place for some of that. Sometimes you want to listen to that type of music. You want to be on that type of vibe, man. But at the end of the day, it's all about balance. They never really balance it out from a music perspective. Then if you indulge in TV, you can already see the lack of balance there. So a lot of people don't even rock with the TV. But it's just a lack of balance in regards to the mainstream and what they push and promote. But in 2020, we shouldn't be relying on that. Going into 2021, we shouldn't be relying on that, man. It's easier to access the underground. The stuff that's underground, man, that's pushing and promoting that positivity. And then we already know, we done already talked about the educational system, and then we done also talked about yeah, Sean, then slow down on the eating too. Chew your food, take your time when you eat. Take your time, chew that food thoroughly. It should almost be like a liquid form, man, when you're chewing and breaking down that food, man. That's important. So break down that food, man, chew that food to where it's almost like a smoothie. So sometimes we be devouring that food, man. We need to embrace chewing that food as well. But man, fasting is crucial. Fasting is crucial. Definitely recommend everybody do that. But in regards to the black destruction, man, two of the main things that I like to focus on and talk about too are like the educational system. Y'all know my views about that, and then just corporate America. Those are two things that I tend to focus on because I experienced a lot within those two fields. Corporate America and the educational system. That's where they really get us. That's where they really indoctrinate us. Like the school system at times remind me of the prison system, man. It's almost like a mirror reflection of the prison system, man. The educational system, man, the Western educational system is not a system for the black child. It's not a system for the black mind. It's just not. It's not, man. As long as we continue to send our children to these white schools, man, we will continue to be behind. We will continue to be behind. We will continue to be behind, man. And then when it comes to corporate America, man, if anything, if we're going to exist within the corporate matrix, we got to learn how to pimp that system, just like they pimp us. So we got to learn how to pimp the system, and a lot of times we not pimping the system. So we got to learn the tricks of the trade. We got to learn what some of these wealthy white folks are doing, and we got to pimp that system. It's real simple. So if you finna operate within the corporate matrix, start doing the knowledge like investing. Again, start making your money work for you instead of you working so hard for the money. So that's something that you should learn. If you look at it like, all right, boom, I'm about to exist within this corporate matrix because this is the way I'm going to make my ends meet, learn about investing. That's one of the best things that you can do. That's how you pimp the system. Get you them life insurance policies that we've been talking about. Again, this is how we generate that wealth without having to actually own a business. There's plenty of ways to do that. We just got to learn those ways. And then we got to implement the strategies. So we really gotta start implementing them strategies, man, because it's a lot of formulas that are already out here. But investing is one of the best things to do if you're gonna operate within that corporate matrix. You gotta know and understand, like, again, I'm gonna make my money work for me. Best way to do that, invest that money. Learn about stocks, man. Whatever form of investing that you feel like you can rock with, master that form of investing. So that when it's all said and done, man, you got more to pass down than the money that you had saved up. Because you can't pass down that good job, man. You can't pass down that good job. But see, that life insurance policy benefiting the fam when you add beneficiaries and stuff like that to it. Like, we got to start doing things like that. That's how we really creating that generational wealth. Magic Realms, yeah, Think and Grow Rich is definitely. And then he got another book. Was it like Outwitting the Devil or something like that? I think that same author wrote that book, Outwitting the Devil. He actually got a few books. I got another book by him. I forgot the name. I think it's like Success, the System That Never Fails or something like that. That's another good book. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, solid book. The Complete Money Makeover. Dave Ramsey, man, he got some decent joints. Richest Man in Babylon is my personal favorite in regards to like wealth books, man. It's real simple, straight to the point. I mean, that first jewel when they tell you to pay yourself first, like little stuff like that we overlook. For the most part, as soon as we get that money, as soon as we get that check, what happened, man? We start paying bills. We don't pay ourselves first. Like what that book say, pay yourself first, man. Like all these other people, they gonna get their money. They gonna get their money. But you gotta make sure you get your money. You work for that money. You deserve a piece of that before anybody else. Thunder Scorpion, when it comes to supporting black businesses, I treat that like any other business. I'm not about to support something that's destroying my people. Yeah, I'm not gonna support anything that's destroying my people. Like I'm not gonna support that. I'm not gonna support anybody that's selling anything that's destructive like that. I mean, it's better things you got. Like I don't indulge in it, so it really ain't no point in me. It ain't no point in me even going like trying to populate your place of business or patronize your place of business, man. When I don't necessarily rock with the product like that, and I got a certain view towards it. So if all you selling is booze, like now if you selling other stuff in there, then I may support it, man. But if you selling like the nicotine, the alcohol, and that's like all you selling and all you slanging, to me you might as well be a drug dealer out here. Like you might as well sell crack to the people. Tavon, man, I know a lot of people like that. I know a lot of people that's out here, man, gang banging, and they want their child to follow in their footsteps. I know a lot of people that got that mentality. Yeah, I know a lot of people that possess that wicked mentality. That's a wicked mentality. That's a wicked mentality to possess, man. But I mean, that's the only life that they know. So in a sense, I get it in that sense, because like that's the only life that you know. But like, man, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. You supposed to want your child to be better than you. You supposed to want your child to grow up in a better environment than you. Like you always want the next generation to do better than you did. No matter what you did, even if you did great things, you still want the next generation to do greater things. Like that's how that's supposed to be. But I know plenty of people, man. I know plenty of people out here, man, that's still out here gang banging in the streets, and they want their child to follow in them footsteps. Man, Sean, like talking about the income tax time, You know, I worked in banking for like 4 years, and I can tell you, people, like black people, really wasted that money. Man, a lot of people was getting some massive returns, and they didn't do anything productive with the money. Like, they didn't do anything productive with the money. Like, I know some people that got some massive returns, man, in about a week. That money was gone, and they didn't have anything to show for it. Ishmael, peace, what's going on? Like, people wouldn't even go get their car fixed. Like, I mean, look, like priorities. Priorities, man. I'm talking about brothers out here getting money, man, to take to the strip club out of the tax money, man. Like, I didn't think brothers could spend this much money at a strip club. Like, I didn't think you can take most of your income tax money and blow it at a strip club. But I've witnessed things like that, man. It's crazy out here, man. Working in the bank, I've seen some crazy things around income tax time, and I can tell you for the most part, 95% of the population, man, they did wrong by their income tax money, and they did it repeatedly every year. They did it repeatedly every year. Jamar, peace, what's going on with you? Thunder Scorpion, man, I seen 10 racks. I was like, man, I don't know what y'all doing. I don't know if I want any parts of that. I ended up owing money. That was crazy. And I'm seeing people getting 10 G's back. Jamar, that means you a moderator. But like I used to have this debate with my pops. And my pops pretty much thinks the solution is like to basically just give black people better jobs, give them more money. I said to an extent, I can agree, but I said working in a bank, one thing I realized, if you just give black people more money, they just gonna waste the money. They gonna spend that money incorrectly because they don't have the financial literacy. So I said the education, the financial literacy is more important than just giving them more money right now. Because all we gonna do is blow that money. We need the education, we need the financial literacy. So you can give a bunch of black people this money. I mean, it happens every year, and that doesn't solve their problems. If I walked outside right now and found that the average black person just boom gave them 20,000 just off the strength, guarantee you that person in another week or so will be bad off. They will be in the same situation that they currently were. They might just have more clothes or something. I mean, I've literally seen that. I've literally witnessed that. So I think financial literacy should be the priority. Then the better jobs, then the more money. If you give these people that don't have the financial literacy more money, then they just gonna be ignorant. They're gonna be more ignorant with more money. That's all that you're doing, man. You just basically, yeah, they most definitely gonna spend it on nonsense, man. Again, you making them just a rich version of what they already are, or a more wealthier version of what they already are. So if I get this ignorant person 50,000, he just gonna be an ignorant person that's $50,000 richer. That ain't gonna solve his problems. So money is not necessarily the band-aid, man, that people think that it is. Like I said, the knowledge, man, the information is, the literacy, the financial literacy. If I gave that dude the education first and told him what to do with money first, then gave him the 50,000, that'll solve some problems. If I let him know where to invest that 50,000, what to purchase with that 50,000, where to put that 50,000 for it to gain the best interest type deal, then I gave him the money. That is doing something. But if I looked at that ignorant person and said, all right, this person don't have no type of financial literacy, and I just gave him 50,000, that money gone. That money is gone. Thunder Scorpion, that's crazy, man. I got some fam that went to Jackson State, and I almost went to Jackson State. Got accepted there and everything. Cam Cooper, peace, what's going on? My thoughts on guns and gun training as a family, like that's something right now I'm not as involved in as I would like to be, but I'm definitely about to work on my gun collection, man. That's something that I definitely advocate, along with all type of self-defense. I feel like just starting as a child, I feel like all black children should learn how to utilize a firearm, and they should learn some type of self-defense, whether it be like boxing or a martial art. I feel like those are requirements for every black child, every young black male, every young black woman. They should learn how to use a firearm. They should learn some type of self-defense, point blank, period. And I don't think that's up for debate. I feel like we should learn those things early. We should learn those things early. Thunder Scorpion, that Dave Chappelle skit. Yo, Sean, I saw a little bit about that Meek Mill situation, but I didn't dive too deep into it, man. So what was that situation all about, man? I just kind of saw the headline, and I was doing something at the time, and I didn't get a chance to like actually read what was going on. So what actually happened with that situation? So he gave him $20 to split for a bottle of water. Like, what did he do that for? Oh yeah, Jamar. Yeah, you give a person that ain't never had money, like I said, they're gonna eventually run out, and it ain't gonna take too long. It ain't gonna take too long for them to run out. So you took him to the gun range at 12, and she got emotional about that. That's crazy. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with taking them to the gun range at 12. I mean, what is... I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem with that at all. Like, what's the issue? Why is that a big deal? Oh, okay. So that's the issue. So people feel like Meek Mill should have gave him more. That's crazy. That, I mean, we all got something to say in regard. I mean, he ain't even have to give him the $20, man. So the fact that he gave him 20, I'm cool with it. I ain't finna necessarily knock the brother. I ain't about to knock the brother. I mean, if I was him, would I have given more? Probably so. But I mean, if he felt like he was just gonna get a 20, that's him, man. I ain't finna concern myself. I ain't finna get stressed out over the deed of another man. So I mean, he didn't have to give him the 20. He didn't owe him anything. He had to do that. Oh, Lindell, man, these rappers out here, man, the stuff that's going on within the rap community is crazy. The stuff that's going on within the rap community is crazy, man. Like these brothers out here. But again, like when you listen to the content of their music, man, then it's like at the end of the day, you almost, I mean, sad to say, you kind of see why this stuff is going on. And it all goes back to the power of words. Again, we talk about what you write down. We talk about what that's called, spelling. So it's a spell. So, I mean, man, just like the Mo3 cat, man, like if you listen to Mo3 music, he pretty much let you know what was about to go down with him. Man, I was listening, I watched something on Mo3 the other day. And I mean, he literally verbatim actually described what happened to him. He was literally singing a song where he talked about he was at a female's house and they caught him lacking. So he didn't have his weapon on him at the female house while he was at the female house. That's exactly what actually happened to him. So he actually painted that picture before it happened, man. So he sung a song about being at a female's house, not having his weapon on him, and that almost got him caught up and killed. That actually is what happened to the dude. So again, man, some of these dudes, when you go back and listen to their music, man, it's just like they paint that picture. They paint their own death, man. So again, man, like it's a power in your words. So you really got to watch what you're saying. Watch what you're rapping about. Now, Sean, in that regards, you ain't gonna get no argument from me in that regard. You ain't gonna get no argument with me on that regard. Like, he could make a better usage of his money than making it rain in a strip club. So that you ain't gonna get no argument with me on there. But again, that part I can't really control that. Like I said, would it have been nice if he gave more? Yes, but he didn't. But he didn't. At the end of the day, like I said, if I had more to give, I would do it. But we know and understand. We can listen to these rappers and listen to what they rap about. It doesn't surprise me that a Meek Mill would spend more in the strip club than in that particular situation when you just listen to his music. I mean, so that ain't necessarily anything that would surprise me coming from a brother like Meek Mill. Now, if we was talking about another artist, man, like in a Mortal Technique or like maybe even a Nas or something, then I'll be like, dang, that's crazy, man. My man's only gave him 20. Yeah, Evan, I was just about to talk about capoeira, man. That's interesting, man. That's something I definitely want to learn. I got a book about it. American Skin, no, I haven't heard of that. The Real Supreme Kai, yeah, most definitely. I remember, man, who was it? I think it was Young Buck. Cause I used to be a big Young Buck fan. I used to fool with Young Buck and Lloyd Banks. But I remember Young Buck talked about that, man. He talked about how he went, like basically how the label at that particular time let him know that, hey, we ain't really trying to hear that uplifting music, man, because he had a few song ideas and that involved uplifting black people, man. It was a more positive message. And they told him that they don't want to necessarily hear that. They want to hear that street type music. So again, even with some of the artists, they know the artists to go get. So they know to go get some of the artists that's really out here living that street life that and did that dirt because it's easier for them to rap about it. But I remember Young Buck talked about that, man. But we already knew that, man. But a lot of these artists, some artists came out and said that was actually something that happened to them. Yeah, 52 Blocks is I love 52 Blocks, man. I love watching them brothers do that. I'm definitely gonna learn that. But you know, when it comes to us talking about labels pushing that destruction, that's what a lot of people have beef with, like NWA. And when they talk about popularizing gangster rap. So a lot of people feel like that was part of our downfall. So a lot of people actually attribute like NWA, like the whole rise of NWA as to our downfall. Like a lot of people do that. I don't know how y'all feel about that particular situation, but that's how it's how certain people that I know view that. So a lot of people don't rock with like NWA. They don't rock with the message in the music because they feel like it was part of the downfall of like black people, just popularizing gangster rap. Now, Jamar, some of these artists are not doing what they rapping about. That's some. It's some that's actually about the life that they rapping about. Cause I know some personal cases where some of these brothers are actually literally about that life. Because I got some connections to these people, and I'm gonna give you an example. Like Boosie, for a fact. Like Boosie is one of the ones that like if he rapping about it, man, there might be some truth to it. And another one that actually died a long time ago, Soulja Slim. Soulja Slim, he wasn't just making that music because he didn't live that life and the label told him to make that music. No, Soulja Slim, everything he pretty much rapping about, he kind of did it. So it's some artists that they literally was about that life. Literally. So but sometimes it is the case where they rapping about it and it's just a whole gimmick, but sometimes it's not. Yeah, Jamar, and that's kind of my view when it comes to so-called gangster rap. Because I'm gonna just be honest with you, sometimes it like paint that picture, man, and I can listen to a lot of gangster rap for the most part. Because like I said, man, it's a real vivid picture that they paint in regards to what's actually going on out here, man. It's actually keeping you connected and tied to the streets. So you able to really understand what's going on, man, like by listening to some of these artists. But a lot of people, man, they attribute that to the destruction of black people. Justin Montana. I mean, that's because music is influential. That's because music is influential. Now, we got some people that we can listen to it and we can say, all right, he rapping about killing 20 people. I ain't finna do that, obviously. But there's some people, man, music can have an influence on a feeble mind. So music does have an influence, man, because then we talking about frequencies and things like that. Sometimes the music may affect you in a way that you don't even notice. So it's what they call subliminal messaging. So music can have that influence. But there are some of us that are strong enough to be able to say, all right, I can separate. I know how to separate the music from reality. So like, I'm finna just listen to this, but I'm not about to actually do anything that this music is talking about. But you have a lot of people that they're not able to do that, especially when you get to the mind of a child like that. That is easier to influence that mind of a child, man. So when they hear certain things, it might influence them a lot harder than if it was like you or me. Oh yeah, you already know. I know the science behind. I know the science behind Master P. Yeah, with the new age rap is like I'm more so I go back to the old school vibe, but you gotta dig deep. There's some new dudes out here that's actually kind of decent. I mean, but you gotta dig deep though. You gotta dig deep to find them. And it's a lot of the vets. They still out here producing quality music. Like I'm a big Goody Mob fan. I don't know if you all know or familiar with the Goody Mob, like the Soul Food album, like their debut album. But man, that album put me on game in regards to the system. Like when Goody Mob came out with Cell Therapy, that song was ahead of its time in regards to explaining pretty much what's going on out here. Like Cell Therapy, man, was way ahead of its time. What was that, like 94, 95-ish? And Goody Mob, the reason why I brought him up, Goody Mob just dropped an album, I think it was on my beat, like the 13th of November, called Survival Kit. And that joint, they still dropping that information, man. And again, not a lot of people talking about that. So we still got the vets out here, man, still letting us know, still giving us that message, still giving us that good content. But man, Goody Mob, they first joint, man, put me on game, and they was dropping a lot. They was dropping a lot of science on there, dropping a lot of knowledge, man. But Cell Therapy is one of the most underrated songs, man, especially CeeLo's verse. Man, he was letting you know some things. Oh, beautiful Goddess Keys, you grew up in Montana. Wow, that's great. Yep, the first black person I ever heard say that. For you, the first black person I ever heard say they grew up in Montana. That's the first time for everything. That was the first. So I know that was a culture shock for you. I can imagine. But I basically grew up around it. So I basically grew up listening to like all type of West Coast music, man. Like Cube, Rapping Forte, like E40. Man, I could Sebo, Spice One. Like I can start naming a bunch of gangster rap artists from the West Coast, because that's the type of vibe that I grew up on. Like Snoop, Too Short, all of that. Like that stuff that I grew up listening to. Yeah, definitely download that Goody Mob, man. Definitely. Survival Kit, man. They went in on that joint. And Nas, y'all already know Nas is my dude. Yeah, Cam Cooper. And that's why I just swallow my pride sometimes, man. Just try to listen to some of this new music so I won't be surprised So I just do it because, like you said, sometimes you kind of forced to listen to it, man. But I be listening to some of these new dudes, man. Some of them are like decent, but for the most part, I don't really too much care for them. Oh, Evan King. Oh, okay. Yeah, do it. Like Twista is one of the most underrated. Like Adrenaline Rush is like a top 10 album of all time, and Twista don't get enough credit. Everybody talking about verses and all that. Like Twista is one of the dudes that can hold his own against a lot of people. Twista is underrated too from Chicago. And I Refuse Limitation is, man, whoo. And that's on that Still Standing Goody Mob. I'm telling you, man, I know the whole science behind Goody Mob, man. Goody Mob was, like, they first 2 albums got me through life. Got me through a lot of life. If you need to just go back and refresh your memory, if you listen to those, like, go back and listen to Soul Food from Goody Mob, Still Standing from Goody Mob, and y'all gonna understand what I'm saying about those things got me through life and helped change and shift my perspective in life. Oh yeah, Tavon Knott, man. Nas done dropped a lot of Jews on a lot of tracks. And then I don't know if y'all are fool with Cormega too, but I mean he has dropped. Go listen to the song "Industry" by Cormega, man. He dropped a lot of science in regards to the industry. See, I like a lot of the artists that kind of expose what's going on. So that's what I be pretty much on. Oh, Sean, word, like I gotta subscribe to my mans, man. Twista my dude. But yeah, Cormega, man, go listen to his Industry joint. That whole album in and of itself is dope. But just go look up Cormega and Industry. That song, man, you can't argue or refute anything that's on that track. And again, like I said, I love the brothers and the sisters that just expose the system and talk about that on the track, man. That's what I get a kick out of that. I can work out to that type of music. Like I be in the gym bumping that "Let's Get Free" by Dead Prez all the time. Like that anti-government music be getting me pumped up in the gym. Like a lot of people be needing that trap music in the gym, man. I get that "Let's Get," man. I might have my best workout when I bump some Dead Prez, man. That "Let's Get Free." Yeah, Jamar, yeah, if I ruled the world, man, that'll definitely cause you to like introspect, man, and reflect on some things. Thunder Square, I forgot MCA too. I mentioned everybody but MCA, man. X-Clan, Brother J, be dropping that science, man. So like if I ever was to have people on the show, like I want to reach out to some of like the underrated hip hop artists that I fool with. Those are the people that I would have as a guest. So like I'd like to chop it up with some of them brothers, man. Like a K Reno Killer Priest, like Cormega and all these type of individuals, man, that I feel like don't get enough credit. Wise, intelligent from Poor Righteous Teachers. I want to chop it up with those individuals, man. I even like Lord Jamar is my dude. Like Brand Nubian. So those are the type of people that I like to chop it up with. Jason Webster, I'm gonna be honest with you. For the longest, I really wasn't into, like, the only really East Coast music that I rock with. The only East Coast artist that I rock with for a long time was just like Nas and like DMX. And that was like, for a minute, I was just like all like West Coast, like Midwest, things like that. So for the longest, I wasn't necessarily really fond of Mobb Deep. Like I didn't really too much care for him like that. Like I feel like the Dog Pound, like Corrupting Dads and stuff like that. But for the longest, I didn't really too much care for Mobb Deep. I started to appreciate them here recently. But like growing up, I wasn't too big on Mobb Deep like that. Now I can appreciate them. Terenzo, no doubt, man, and that's all we strive to inform y'all, man. That don't give up on us, man. Still hope. It's still some young brothers out here, man, that got their head on straight. It's still some young sisters out here that got their head on straight. It's still some of us that's out here, man. Still some of us in existence. And Jamar, man, you got it, man. Like as far as you being 19, like, hey, you already thinking, you already ahead of where I was at 19, man. So you just got to keep doing what you doing. You on the right path. You far ahead of me when I was 19, man. I can't tell you some of the stuff that I was on at 19. Yeah, Airview, I definitely rocked with Get Rich or Die Trying when it had came out. I almost think everybody was rocking with that, but yeah, I had rocked with it for a minute. But yeah, Jamar, man, you touch your age bracket, man. They need you, man. They need a brother like you, like all the other 19, 20, 21-year-olds, man. They need a brother like you to represent. Because again, like I said, y'all got a bad rep, man. A lot of people are the younger generation can't understand them. Well, you the total opposite of what they describe. So you got to represent, man. You got to represent for your age group, man. You got to let them know that not all of us are this way because they putting y'all in a box. Oh, Justin, you can't ask me that. Cause DMX dropped, dude dropped 3 classics in a row. Flesh of My Flesh or It's Dark and Hell Is Hot, that is between those two. It's a toss-up. Cause I like Flesh of My Flesh. I like that joint. So that's a toss-up. It's between those two though. Commercially, and then there was X probably had like the most hits commercially. But I personally like Flesh of My Flesh or It's Dark and Hell Is Hot. It's a toss-up. Like people get mad at me. Like I'm more of a DMX fan than I am a Jay-Z fan. I don't even too much care for Jay-Z like that. I'm more of like a DMX fan. Like I don't really listen to Jay-Z like that. I mean, some of the, like I never really rock with him like that. So a lot of people don't understand that, man. How could you not? I just don't. Yeah, Torenzo, man. At 19, I was in college. I was in college. I know that much, man. That like my mentality, I was getting there, man. But I was still like a savage in pursuit of happiness. But again, we always a work in progress. So at 19, I ain't expected to have everything figured out. But at 19, I was definitely a savage out here, man. So at the end of the day, sometimes when a lot of things come my way, like I'm not even really surprised because I was out here, like I said, a savage in pursuit of happiness. So when some things come back around to me, I just talk it up and take the L, man. Just take the L because I caused this to come around to myself. Because all your actions have a consequence. So when something comes to me, I don't sit there wondering why this is happening to me. I know and understand why this is happening to me. It's because of something that I did. It's because of my past actions. That's why this stuff is coming back around to me. So it is what it is, man. I hold myself accountable. I hold myself accountable for everything that happens to me and everything that comes my way. I'm accountable for it. And that's just pretty much how I look at everything and how I view everything. So, like I said, I wasn't necessarily a saint back in the day, man. So I did my dirt. And all that stuff just gonna come back to you. It's gonna come back to you. So if you did dirt, if you did negative things, then that negativity comes back to you. So stop asking yourself, stop acting like you deserve way more than you deserve. You know what I mean? So if certain things happen to you that is unfavorable, you cause that to come to yourself, man. There's nobody on this planet that deserves 100% positivity coming their way, man. It's gonna be certain things you don't necessarily like that's gonna come your way because it's gonna be things that you did that you shouldn't have done. So I don't expect for the world to just work in my favor 100% of the time, because it's things that I thought that I shouldn't have thought, it's things that I've said that I shouldn't have said, things that I've done that I shouldn't have done. So I mean, when that happens, then you can expect to get that in return. Yeah, beautiful Goddess Keys. It's all about that. It's all about that accountability, and I had to swallow my pride on that. And that's what it comes down to when we talking about accountability, man. Just swallowing your pride. Just swallowing your pride and just looking in the mirror and say, man, I used to act this way in the past, man. That wasn't necessarily a good way to act. So some of the stuff that's coming to me, man, it's a reflection of the things that I did and some of the things I continue to do. So that's what refinement is in regards to our mathematics, man. You got to refine yourself. But a lot of times, man, in order to refine yourself, man, you really got to just look in the mirror. And a lot of people don't want to do that. But accountability is a big step in the right direction. It's a big step in the right direction. Like I said, the easiest thing to do is to blame someone else. The easiest thing to do is to point the finger at somebody else or something else as to the reason why you did something. That's the easy thing to do. That's the easy way out. And we live in that microwave generation where we always striving to take the easy route. But like, nah, like we gotta take that hard road. That hard road. You gotta really analyze your role in the situation. Evan, yes sir. I am a 5%er, man. I got the knowledge of myself way back when I was in college. But yes sir. And Melanated, yeah, Army of the Pharaohs, man. You talking about Vinny Paz and the boys and them. Definitely. Yeah, I definitely fool with them. Yeah, so man, accountability is something that I'm always instilling in people's mind, man. If you're not willing to hold yourself accountable, then it ain't even no sense of me even trying to tell you anything. Yeah, Jedi mind tricks, yep. So I mean, I feel like everything starts like after like knowledge of self and all that stuff, man, just learning to love yourself. I think everything starts with like accountability. Everything starts with accountability, man. Like I said, I feel like at times we feel like the world should just operate in our favor, man, because a lot of times we had this perception of us that's not necessarily a reality. So a lot of times we think we are way better as people than we actually are. Like a lot of times we think we way better than we actually are. And that's a hard pill to swallow. Even in regards to when we talk about like nice guys and things like that, like some of the times the dudes that even refer to themselves as nice guys, not necessarily nice. But I mean, who gonna really view themselves as a mean person? Who gonna view themselves as a mean guy? I'm a mean guy. Like not too many people gonna be honest with themselves like that. So for the most part, everybody think they nice, everybody think they good. So then that's why everybody acts surprised when so-called bad things happen or unfavorable situations make their way to them. But when you really look in the mirror, it's like you're not as nice as you think. You're not as good as you think. Like you've done some dirt. You've thought some dirt. You said some dirt. Like, but a lot of times we just give ourselves too much credit, man. That's one of the reasons why I feel like we really don't improve at the rate that I feel like we should improve at, man. Because again, everybody think they good. Everybody think everybody else got the problem. Like I'm okay. I'm good. I'm nice. They got the problem. Yeah, Tavon, most of the people that call themselves real, like they are the most artificial individuals. Swag Yusef, what's going on? Yeah, Magic Rims, I definitely agree with that. It definitely gets you closer to that authentic self, man, just holding yourself accountable. But like I said, man, a lot of people, that's why we in the condition, man. Just a lot of people don't do that. Like I even asked people, like, all right, you know, I asked a few people that considered themselves like nice guys. I said, man, so what do you mean by that? Like I asked somebody to really legit define what a nice guy is, and you know, at the end of the day, it's duality, man. So I don't need to place a label and call myself good. I don't need to call myself bad. At the end of the day, I'm gonna do some things that's perceived as good. I'm gonna do some things that's perceived as bad. That's duality. That's duality. So I ain't gonna. If somebody come and ask me, am I a good guy? Nah, man, I'm not gonna answer that. Somebody ask me, am I a nice guy? I'm not gonna answer that. I'm not gonna answer that. I'm not gonna place that on myself. Like I'm a guy that strives to be the best version of myself, but along that path, along that journey, man, I may make some mistakes. I may do some things I'm not supposed to do. I may say some things I'm not supposed to say. So I'm susceptible to error just like everyone else. But I'm not necessarily a good person. I'm not necessarily a bad person, man. I'm just a person. And I'm gonna make some mistakes. I'm gonna do some good deeds, gonna do some bad deeds. I mean, that's just a part of life. Hopefully I learn from those bad deeds, man. But to try to sum everything up and make it look like I'm just a good guy, like I'm just a nice guy, I don't need to do that. I don't need to refer to myself as a nice guy. I don't need to refer to myself as a good guy. If I'm doing good, like everybody, like the work that you're doing is gonna speak for itself. So I mean, I don't need to necessarily call myself that. So if I'm out here putting in the work, then the work gonna speak for itself. Got Jamaica in the building. Yeah, Torenzo, that's basically what it is, man. I'm a black man that's breathing. You know, take it how you want to take it. Take it how you want to take it. That duality, man, like I said, that good, bad, that positive, negative, good, evil, however you want to refer to it, man, that exists within all of us, man. So at the end of the day, I got all of that in me. And I'm going to manifest some of everything. Like I said, I strive to be as righteous as possible, but that don't necessarily make me a righteous person. I strive for it, man, but like I said, at the end of the day, I'm gonna have my bad days. I'm gonna have my down days, and that's just life. That's just life, man. It's unrealistic to think I'm gonna be 100% righteous. It's unrealistic to think I'm gonna be 100% positive. It's unrealistic to think that just everything is gonna flow in my favor. Like, that's unrealistic, man. Yeah, balance is key, and Tavon, most definitely, you can definitely set somebody else up to score. You can definitely set somebody else up to score, man. But see, they gotta know the play, they gotta understand their role, they gotta work on that game. If I set you up to score, right, and using a basketball analogy, if I kick it out to you, but you ain't been working on your jump shot, then man, that's just I'm wasting that nice dime. I'm wasting that nice pass because you ain't willing to work on your game. Like you gotta work on that jumper, man. Work on that finish. Because if I dish it to you, man, you gotta be able to catch it, man. You gotta be able to finish it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, man, people don't be working on themselves. So then when you set them up to score, then it's like they can't do nothing with it because they ain't been working on themselves, which would be them working on their game. That's the equivalence there. Yeah, accepting the low standards, yeah, we most definitely do that. And again, that comes with just the lack of knowledge itself, not knowing who we are. So that's why we accept those low standards, because again, when I talked about the destruction of Black America in regards to the educational system, that's one of the things that they encourage. Like, they are showing you that your history started as slavery. So that's repetition and that's indoctrination. So if we repeatedly see that our history started with slavery, that we wasn't nothing more than just mere slaves and we had to fight and earn our rights and things like that, and we 3/5 of a human, we gonna start to accept that. So that's where those low standards come from in the first place. And that's why we have accepted those low standards, because of what they taught us in the school system, and we accepted that through repetition, this programming that went on. So that's all that happened. I feel like all of that starts in the school system, man. That's what they consistently teaching us. That's what they continually teaching us, man. That's repetition, man. That's programming. That's mind control. That's a mind control tactic, man. So they understand what repetition does. They understand how powerful repetition is. That's why they do it. Melanated Moselle, like this is all me. I've been growing my hair for about almost 20 years. Oh, Montel, I feel like we didn't all been there. I feel like we didn't all been there at one point in our lives. Oh, Evan King, man, listen. This one thing they really don't talk about when it comes to like Nat Turner. What they really fail to talk about in regards to when they even bring up Nat Turner, man, but Nat Turner was like a Christian though. Nat Turner lived and died by the Bible. So Nat Turner, it's something in that Bible that justify what Nat Turner did. They don't want you to know those type of scriptures. Because again, like I said, they didn't alter the scriptures many a times to take stuff out like that. But yeah, man, Nat Turner was a Christian. Nat Turner fooled with the Bible, and look what that Bible led him to do. Look at what that Bible led him to do. That's one thing they don't talk about. But they don't talk about a lot of like things that they should talk about, obviously, man. From Nat Turner, they don't give Malcolm X his just due. They don't talk enough about the Black Panthers, in my opinion. They don't talk about MOVE. I don't know if y'all heard of MOVE, but they don't talk about that. They really don't even talk about the Black Wall Street like that, Rosewood, like things that they should be really touching on. Even the Gullah Wars, like you talked about, they don't talk about the Maroons. They don't talk about a lot of things that they should be talking about, especially when they start just making the slaves look like they were these real passive people. Again, talk about the Maroons and how guerrilla warfare basically came from them, mastering their environment because they was outnumbered. So they felt like if they mastered the environment, they would have the upper hand. And how they had the British people, how they had these white folks spooked and had to create the peace treaty. But then when they created the peace treaty, then that actually corrupted the Maroons. So that lets you know, again, I tell you, everywhere that this white man goes, man, it's just wickedness. So the worst thing that we can do, history proves this, the worst thing that we can do as a people is sign a peace treaty with them. The Maroons, when they signed the peace treaty with the white folks, because the white folks were spooked, when they signed that peace treaty, that actually corrupted them and made them soft, and it actually turned them against their people. Signing the peace treaty. Yeah, Jamar, and that's why I say I'm all for separation. Now, again, like I always add the stipulation, separation if they would leave us alone. Now, I'm not saying if they separate, then they continue to treat us like they did our communities, bombing them and all that type of stuff. If we can separate and they agree to leave us alone, man, we'll flourish. We don't need them. Again, like I said, they need us. Just imagine if we separated. Just imagine if they tried to have things like sports with just white people. That would not, man, white people don't even want to watch each other. Like, they ain't finna watch a bunch of white dudes playing basketball, man. They ain't about to watch a bunch of white dudes playing football. White people don't even want to see that. We gonna get the white people coming to watch the black sports, like they already do. But if we just separate it, man, just imagine how, boy, they'll suffer terribly. They'll suffer terribly. They need us a lot more than we need them, and they know that. We just don't. We think that we need them. We think that we need them, and that is not a fact at all. But man, I done did again, man. I done did some venting. I done went over the time that I was supposed to be on here. I gotta get this gym ready. You know, I got a client. I got a session that I gotta prepare for. So again, man, I appreciate y'all tapping in, tuning in, man. I done finally made y'all some moderators after after freaking 5 years, but it's all peace and whatnot. I'm a procrastinator for the most part, but I'm working on that. But I appreciate y'all tuning in and tapping into your boy, man. I might take 2 days off, man. I may come back and holler at y'all on Saturday. Gotta do me some knowledge, man, because the next video that I want to talk about, or the next video I want to do, I want to talk about something in regards to nutrition. Something in regards to like nutrition. So I want to build on something on the nutritional realm. So I'll probably take about 2 days off, man. Give y'all some time to just catch up on previous content. And I'll probably holler at y'all on Saturday. I may do it in the morning, or I may do it around like the normal time that I would regularly go live, like maybe 3 or 4 o'clock, and that's Central Time. So I appreciate y'all tuning in, tapping in, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Wednesday. Y'all enjoy your Thursday and enjoy your Friday. Y'all stay peaceful, y'all stay healthy, y'all stay positive and productive out here, man. I'm gonna catch y'all on Saturday. Peace.